Yeah, what up, everybody? How you doing? I just got home. Yeah, this is the last kicks before we get into the curfew. As we know, we're gonna be curfewing very soon. Monday we're back to 8 p.m. But yeah, I just thought I'd check in everybody, find out where y'all are at, where y'all are at, and just talk about some things. Just talk about some things. Just talk, talk, talk. So if you're out there, thanks for coming through. So I just want to share this with y'all. Let's see. Let's see if we can watch this together. Maybe I can give my thoughts afterwards. Let me just get that together. Let me just get that together. Okay, good. Give me a second. Just trying to get this sorted because I always forget to do this. Always forget to do that. Um, all right, let's see. Let's see. All right.
We right here. We right here. We back live again. Cool, man. We have a lot of things to address today because I think that with the new review that you just put up on according to hiphop.com, we have had some time to mull over this new Nas effort, King's Disease 2, and you gave it a 5 out of 5. Classic album.
It is, Mike. I mean, it's a masterful record. I mean, it's plain and simple. Anybody with good hip hop ears can hear that this is one of our all time greats, making one of his all time great albums. I mean, classic.
And one of the things that you covered in the review was the fact that yes, it's been a big space of time, a span of time since one of his seminal records or highly regarded records in Godson. And you can't really think of too many people in music that have taken that 19-year break and been able to come back with such a quality record and shit damn near a classic with, no skips.
I find it to be a no skips player, uh, which is kind of funny to say. Like a lot of our classic albums aren't no skip players. You know, a lot of our classic albums are classic to us because of the feeling and because of like the gravity of some of the songs that can be found within the project that just really strike a chord and never really let go for you. You know.
Okay. Well, yeah.
This album for me was an album that was a great way to contextualize and put his other projects in proper perspective. It's like, okay, you should be able to look at King's Disease 2 and understand that Life is Good isn't as great as you thought that it was, like I wrote in the review. Like King's Disease 2 is proof that Life is good and has great moments, but not.
Okay, I had to stop it right there. So I'm just watching some of these, like a review on King's Disease 2, and as you can see, the caption or the title of the video says, "Pitchfork Media thrashes or trashes Nas's new classic album, King Disease 2," and I guess, according to Hip Hop, is going to discuss that. Now, already I have a problem with someone saying, "No, this album proves that the other album was not as great." Listen, you can't do that, like, because the frame of mind of the artist at that time, what it was trying to convey, and even the material and the equipment and the engineers and the resources he had at his disposal will allow him to maximize at that time. You cannot, for example, take a movie Like say what's a really dope CGI movie? Let's say Aquaman, for example, right? You cannot take Aquaman and say it's a better movie than the first Jurassic Park movie because CGI, wah 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 wah. No, the technology that was available at the time is what makes that particular movie what it is, what it was then, and what is available. The resources available now are what will make this project that is out now what it is now. And we listen to music differently now than we did then. So the whole thing of saying the album now makes the other album look or makes the other album not so good. It's I don't agree with that. I feel like Life is Good did what Life is Good was supposed to do at that time. And unless someone did not understand the messaging and the themes of Life is Good, then maybe then. But for me, it's like you cannot use that to then say, no, that one was not as good as this. No. You have to look at all the elements that were available then that made that album what it was, including Nas's frame of mind, state of mind, rather. So I don't know about that argument, but let's keep watching.
Not really as great as people were saying. What really happened was Mike, when Life is Good came out, that was a decade gap between God's Son.
Right.
That's what I was trying to contextualize. So imagine somebody that's writing this review that maybe doesn't get hip to Nas till 2003, 2004.
Well, that's true. To kind of piggyback off of that and what we're talking about today, I know people are probably going to be looking at this like, damn, they talked about Nas last week. You know what I mean? But I think we need to cover this because Pitchfork Media just recently put out their review, and we put out our review yesterday as well, and trashed the effort. And we're gonna go over some of those points. And in the meantime, anybody that's watching this on Facebook after the fact, make sure you go on the YouTube and subscribe to the According to Hip Hop YouTube channel so you can actually join in live. And we're also welcoming everybody into the room so they can kind of chime in too and talk about this with us. But one of the main criticisms that I saw on this Pitchfork Media review that was written by Stephen Curse, it was one of those things where it was like, even the criticisms, first of all, he gave it a 6. Let's go to that screen. He gave it a 6.1 out of 10.
Yeah, yeah. So Stephen Curse doesn't know what he's talking about. Probably a white dude, honestly. I'm sure. Let me see if I can find that thing right there. Give me a second. Let me see. So I'm just looking up Stephen. I'm looking up Stephen Curse real quick. uh, Stephen Curse, including he's also Stephen Curse. Okay. All right, Stephen Curse is a black guy. Interesting. Maybe he just did this for the numbers. He's a black dude, and yeah, it's unbelievable how you could give unless he doesn't understand the project altogether. I don't know. I don't know how some of these guys pick some of these journalists. Like, I don't get it. Let me see. Life is good. No, 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 no. Let me see. Let me see. Let me just pull that real quick. Let me do this. Just wanna see if I can. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. So yeah, he gave the album a 6.1 out of 10. Okay, so what is Stephen Kerr saying? So I'm just piggybacking off of according to hip hop's video, just to look at what guys have to say about this. Um, let's see. I'm just gonna go through this real quick. Oh man, sorry about that. Okay. Let's see. The main themes of King's Disease 2 are maturation and tutelage. Yes, true. Nas, emboldened by by his longevity in rap and successful business ventures, invites listeners to masterclass Escobar, as he puts it on in PMD 2, which is for me is the worst song on the album, for obvious reasons. Hit Boy returns as the main producer. Okay. Um, the beats match the raps. Yes, facts. The partnership works. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So this person is saying when Nas's rhymes aren't clumsy, his storytelling is. Okay, cool. Nas clunkers, were Nas's clunkers used to at least feature a striking rhyme or image? Now they just fall flat. Wow. Okay, that's deep. Only island that my niggas knew was Rikers or Staten. He says on 40 side, a line that is neither clever nor true. There's a lot of hate in this review, you know what I'm saying? A lot of hate. But you know what? I think let's go back to the video and let's see what else guys from hip hop according to hip hop is saying. Let's see what they're saying. Let's see. Warranted. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think this dude, one, I think he's disillusioned with Nas's subject matter now, and now that Nas has shifted and he's doing other things, I think he's failing to catch on to what Nas has to say. That's what I think. Oh no, but yeah, let's keep watching. Let's see. Yeah, but that's how it is though, because these guys have set themselves up as a mainstay in terms of music reviews in general. So I think it's a media thing, and in order to stay relevant, they feel like they have to be contrarian. That's what I think. I mean, we go to a lot of and it's just honestly it's a smart thing to do because a lot of people that consume Pitchfork are Caucasian, methinks, and that's why I think that's what he's gonna get into now to say who are they to be the voice of the kind of music that we subscribe to. But let's hear. All right, I think I lost audio. Just give me a second. I'm gonna be right back. All right, I think I lost audio. Just give me a second. I'm gonna be right back.
Very clear about this. If they would have done this to American Gangster and the Blueprint 3, I would feel the same exact way. You don't treat your legends this way.
I mean,
Period.
again, a bad album is a bad album, right?
Okay, so like I said before, these guys are discussing this dude who literally trashed Disease 2, and he also trashed Nasir. Now, we all know Nasir was a rushed project. And Nas admitted it time and time again to say, you know what, he felt like he didn't really get the chance to prepare the way he wanted to prepare for that project. So we know that. Like, and for them to like give it a 6, okay, cool. Like, okay, let's say, okay, fine, rush project, it's a 2, it's a 6 out of 10, that's fine. But like, King's Disease 2 was better than the first one, and the first one got him a Grammy. So what's anyway? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. I just want to hear that. I just want to hear the you know the argument. Just give me a second.
The tone that I don't like about it. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's where no, that's where I'm coming from with it too. Again, like you said, there's a tone
We still
here
we still
where
looking for that motherfucker from Rolling Stone. Yeah, he can come on here too.
and even this statement, and this goes to the last paragraph, and this is on the current review of King's Disease 2. He said there's a hint of survival's guilt in Nas's fixation on the past. Have you heard Illmatic? That's what Nas is. He's a nostalgic MC. Like he talks about where he's
Like,
been
this is
and
this is what
correlates it to where he's going. But I
this is
agree with
what
you. It's the tone. It's like,
Like
okay,
that's why I wrote the review and talked about Nas's nostalgic sense and how it's one of the key points and why people gravitate to him. It's almost like the writer is unaware of who Nas is. And when you're writing in this culture about this culture and you don't know who Nas is, you shouldn't take on the task.
That is very true. Another very good point. Like you cannot like it's like I wake up in the morning and I write about a Slipknot review. Or I write who's just I write a review on an album that I have no knowledge of its genre. Like um who's this? There's I don't know if I make sense. Like you have if you're gonna write a review on an album, you have to know the artist, or at least you have to do your research to understand how the artist, how he expresses himself. It's like imagine writing a review on a Kanye West album, right? If you listen to an album like Yeezus, for example, you're not gonna understand what he's trying to do because you don't know who Kanye. If you don't know Kanye's discography, if you don't know Kanye as a person, if you don't know that he expresses the way he feels at a certain point in time, you're gonna probably end up trashing each and every one of of his albums because every single one of his albums, explores a new trend in music. Like that's how he works. So if you don't know who he is, if you don't know his track record, if you don't know his style of writing, if you don't know how he picks his themes when he does what he does, then of course it's not going to make sense to you.
You're not the person for the job.
this
This
is
has
the
nothing to
writer
do
on
with
the
the writing.
screen, by the way. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got the writer on the screen while
Your
you're talking.
writing skill, this has to do with like your writing will. And here's what I mean, Mike, when I give everybody the same weight. Like Mike, I know Nas's catalog well, so I don't need to go back and listen to all of Nas's shit. But I don't know Migos catalog, so I actually spend more time listening to the Migos when I'm doing the review for Culture 2 than I'm going back and going through Nas's projects. You get it?
Right.
I don't love Migos nowhere near that I love Nas, but out of respect for the craft, Mike,
Yeah.
I sit up here and I make sure that I go through all their stuff before I go do a review because I know I don't play their stuff like that. And I need to give them fair weight, fair shake, and contextualization. And this piece lacks all of that. And so
let me go to the chat real quick.
Hip-hop's birthday?
Yeah,
On
right.
hip-hop's birthday, I'm going to say that again.
Alex Caldwell says people's problem with Nas is the same with LeBron. They hate when you're great for a long period of time. Other comment, I can't pronounce your names like
Yeah, I totally agree. That's true. But in this specific situation, I think it's just out of sheer ignorance and just wanting to be contrarian. Like you like the I think the other gentleman said correctly. Like if you're gonna review a project, right, you need certain reference points, right? Like you're not just gonna I'm not gonna you're not gonna review a Martin Scorsese movie without looking at what he's done before and not just watching the movie but understanding what his goal was for the previous movie, what his goals were for the previous movies. Like if you watch, if you know, especially these guys, and when if I'm using the movie example, if Nas is to music what Christopher Nolan is to movies. You know, he's a big guy. He's not just a guy for a person from around the way. So when a Nas album drops, especially because of his large discography, you can't just say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna just treat this album as an island, and I'm just gonna compare it to the fun albums that have come out from other rappers." You can't do that. Like Nas is a whole establishment on his own. You need to look not just at his previous works, but also at the environment around those works. Because whenever Nas releases something, it shifts the culture. So you need to you need to take that into consideration.
The Ghettos. It says they hate Nas just like the guy on with the cap on hates Eminem. So it's just so it's just life, and I love Nas. I mean, listen, man. I don't hate Eminem, and and I think I said this last week.
Mike, I just want to know, Mike. I wanted to just let you know it's too late. Everybody know about you.
Right. And I don't hate Eminem. I would love for Eminem to come through with a dope verse, but he just doesn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I think we all, and I'm not the only person out here on the internet talking about it. I think Daylight, Freestyle MC, you know what I'm saying, has been in hella URL battles. Shout out to Daylight. He got on live talking about how Eminem's verse was a misstep. So it's not just me. And the fact that you get on,
Mike.
What?
I just realized something. I want to bring something up. How old is hip hop? How old was hip hop yesterday?
48 years old. What up, Mark Wright? Got Mark Wright in the room.
Mike, listen to what I'm about to say. When you're talking about Nas, if hip hop has been around for 48 years, we're talking about somebody that's been around for 30 of them.
Yeah, and he's about damn near the same age as hip hop.
That makes him required hip hop reading if you're going to review hip hop albums. Period.
And shout out to Mark Wright, man. Mark is the one that actually sent me this Pitchfork review.
Yeah, that's another good point. Like I said, this is a mainstay. This man's name is synonymous with the culture itself. He is one of the guys who are in the driver's seat in terms of cultural shifts within hip hop. Like, so you cannot just pick, like, it's like picking a stick out of a box and just saying, "Oh, this is what it is." No, you really need to do your research whenever he drops a project, because also the gentleman himself, Stephen Curse, your credibility is on the line. Remember, you're not just writing for Pitchfork, you're also writing to the culture. Like, and if King's Disease won a Grammy, and the Grammys found it good enough for them to finally give Nas an award for the album, whether it's political or otherwise, they also are putting their credibility on the line, right? And if they found it fit to give him a Grammy for that, and this album comes out, and I mean, it for me, honestly, I don't really believe in the Grammys, but if King's Disease 2 is better, which it is, it's a better album than the first one, and everybody who's listened to it agrees that it's a better album than the first one, regardless of whether it wins or not. Already, like, giving it a 6 out of 10 doesn't make sense to me. Like, it does not. But yeah, let's keep watching.
And gave me a heads up on it.
I'd like to thank you. Mike sent me that article at 9:00 in the morning yesterday and pissed me off, and I've been pissed off since.
One of the and I think it's interesting that you said the tone, and this part of the review is what really kind of signifies the tone to me, where he says, let's see, now pressure. All right, he says, "Only island my niggas knew was Rikers and Staten," he says on 40 side. A line that's neither clever nor true. His native Queensbridge neighborhood is across from Roosevelt Island, from an island called Manhattan. Listen, man. I think that, again, this is tone. How are you going to sit here and tell this man what his experiences were and what his people knew in those housing projects of Queensbridge. Now, I understand you want to be tongue in cheek and all that, but I don't think that in a review is the time to do it. When someone's expressing what their upbringing was and what islands that their people knew, you want to give Nas a geography lesson, or you want to give niggas in Queensbridge projects a geography lesson. That lets me know you've never.
And on top of that, like he might have, artists, rappers, writers, you know, people express themselves. One should never make a mistake of taking them literally. Because again, because this person is looking at, the right now, right, of connectivity of Instagram and all of those things. He probably thinks that yeah, like these kids in these neighborhoods knew about the rest of the United States, knew about the rest of the world, and but understand that maybe that's all these people spoke about was either Staten Island, being what it was for what it was at the time, or Rikers Island for being what it was at the time, which is, you know, you had the hood or where people wanted to be, and you had, the prison where people didn't want to be. So one should never make a mistake of taking these guys literally. You have to understand, again, because this person did not do their research to see, okay, wait, when Nas made Illmatic, what was the subject matter? What did he speak about? Where did he say it was from? And how does that translate to this album, King's Disease 2, which pretty much is like a swan song, where it's like, okay, now I'm here and I've made it and I'm talking about this, and I'm reminiscing on those times, and maybe what we spoke about then was, Staten Island, oh man, they're like this and they like that, so I feel like this person is making a mistake of taking Nas lyric very literally, which is an error.
Never been there.
First of all, you ain't never about to step in the bridge and do that.
Yeah, I want to see this guy go into the bridge. Respectfully, Stephen, I want to see this guy go into the bridge and tell these guys, give them a geography lesson on islands.
Mike, that ain't even how it go. You and me ain't going to the bridge without like a cosign. That ain't how it go.
No,
you don't go into you don't go into projects and hoods like that and like just stop that. But here's what I will say.
Mm-hmm.
You're showing an example of how he put his writing style and who he is as a writer ahead of the artist. And that's not what you're supposed to do when you're reviewing an artist the stature of Nas. Like, you need to be talking about the artist. Damn your writing style.
It's like, again, I don't know if you're looking for punchlines, but I think that even the critiques are like the critique that he had on Store Run about him, advertising what he does and what he's been up to and talking about IPOs. What hip hop artist, period, doesn't talk about where their life is, doesn't brag to a certain extent, or uplift what they have going on? What great hip hop album doesn't do that at all? You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw one of his, because I went back and looked at a few of his reviews, and this writer, Stephen Kurtz for Pitchfork Media, he writes for others as well. He's from Atlanta. He's from, I think he's from Riverdale, I think it said, and he went to school in New York a little bit and lives in DC. I would love, for us to sit here and talk about why you dislike the album so much and real criticisms of it. But what I'm thinking is like, dude, I see all your other reviews, and the highest rating I saw him give was Trap Music. So I guess he retroactively went back and reviewed Trap Music. He gave that T.I.'s Trap Music. He gave that a 8.6. And I'm thinking maybe that's more so where his generation is. Maybe he's from Atlanta. He holds that high. I hold that album high. I'm from Atlanta as well. But Mike, there's so much bragging in that record. It's so much boastering and all that. So What are we talking about?
I mean, Mike, and if we want to be truthful, I would tell you that I think rating trap music 8.6 is a little low for trap music. That would be more like a 9.1 or 2 for me.
It's T.I.'s best effort.
That's what I'm saying. That's more like somewhere in the like low to mid 9 point something based on like their rating scale. If we're actually being honest, so he didn't rate
especially
that
especially if you retroactively go back and rate it because it's higher. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't know when trap music came out the impact it would have. We just knew it was a dope record.
There were a lot of songs that came out on trap music that we just thought were dope singles for the time that turned into classic like T.I. songs, right? So very problematic, Mike.
But with that being said, and I bring that up in the fact that, you know, there's braggadocious stuff all over trap music. You know what I'm saying? I guess you would say I'm just doing my job as more introspective T.I., right?
That's a good point. It is problematic. It's like the author is contradicting themselves even with other projects. So we can't take you seriously. Like forget for me it's like okay, you give trap music an 8, right? Okay, fine, great. You know, at the time, that's what was popping, and it's a great project. Like they said, Ti's best effort, great. He released more albums after that. Heavy's the Head, and is it Us versus Them? And personally, I believe Us versus Them. I think it's Us versus Them. Let me look it up. Let me just give me 1 second. Um, saying, yeah. So like I'm saying, I understand where the guys are coming from, but I just feel like you know, trap music musically, in terms of records sold, it did better. Introduced Ti to to the huge market that was the U.S. That was the world. But in terms of if you put it, if you compare it to Us or Else, which really talks a lot about what was happening in the U.S. at the time, and which kind of hit us from left field. It wasn't really promoted like that. I feel like it was, for me, it's the better album. That's just my opinion.
But if you talk about Rubber Band Man, Wild as the Taliban, 9 in my right, 45 in my other hand.
24s, anybody? 24.
Yeah, 24s. I mean 24s is the first single. So now talking about your IPOs is a problem. Is it the fact that this ain't street shit that makes it less
Well,
than
well,
hip
Mike,
hop? I don't know.
Mike, you want to know what? Here's one of like my personal takeaways and thoughts about this album that I've been holding that I'm going to share right now.
I'm gonna be right back. I just gotta do something real quick. All right, guys. I gotta go. We're gonna continue this discussion tomorrow. So stay safe, be good, and yeah. If you can, just watch this first part, and tomorrow we'll continue this discussion at around the same time, which is between 9 and 10 p.m. And if you, as always, if you want to jump on, just let me know, and we can talk about it. All right, then. Peace.